In Photoshop, you can apply gradients in all kinds of ways to create super colourful designs for Photoshop. And this is Photoshop 2024. Go over here to the gradient tool, select that. And in the top left, you'll notice you've got two options, gradient and classic gradient. Now, classic gradient's the format that was used CS1, CS2, CS3, etc., version 5, 4, etc. of Photoshop. But I'm going to go with the new format, gradient initially. So gradient, select that, and select a gradient. I'm just going to go with your basic gradient, this one first. You should have that in your gradients palette. You've got loads of them, hundreds and hundreds of different colour designs. Also, you can set linear, radial, etc. along here. I'm just going to go with radial. So click and then apply. And you can see what you get. This is a gradient tool you can manipulate. It's a layer. So you can see over here, you've got your layer. You can also go here and you can resize this. So it's interactive. Now you've got no controls up here to manipulate it. But if you want to manipulate it by a panel, you can go to Window and you've got Properties. And you can see then you've got a number of options here for scale, angle, etc. So you can manipulate it from here as well, which is really useful. You can go to opacity, controls, etc. But let's just get rid of that. But what you can do, you can move it around and you can also hover over this bar and this line. You can change the colour. So you might decide, you know what, the one that you've selected here, slightly bigger. That's the first one, the first stop. You can see you can change that. Double click, brings up the colour picker. And you can go for, say, red and click OK. You can also go and select this one. As soon as you do that, you see that gets slightly bigger as well. And then you can change the colour of that one. So double click and maybe go for, say, black. So you can create a very quick, colourful red and black gradient and click OK. You can also control the midpoint and you can see this little diamond in the centre there. And you can resize it so you get obviously more black or more red. And you can change that like that, your heart's content. But what you can also do is you can add additional colours to it. Obviously, it's not going to be very good when it's just red and black. But you can hover over here and you can see a little plus, not on the line itself. That's, you can move things around, but if you hover just slightly away from it, you get the plus. So click, and then you can see you've got a colour there. And again, double click, brings up that. And again, you can change it to, say, green or red or blue, etc. And click OK. And you can repeat that, add multiple stops. And you can reposition that as well, and so on. It's a layer. So what you can do with a layer, you can go here to the blend modes, you can go here, and you've got a colour burn, you can run through these, so you can change it to all kinds of different blend modes that combine with the layer below. Also what you can do, you can go to layer, and you can duplicate this layer, so duplicate layer. So you can create another one, so click OK, and you can reposition that, move it around, and you've got this one, and you've also got this one. So you can select that one, you can see now that gradient's in a slightly different position. Because you've got blend modes, you can always go here and you can say, oh, go for lighten or different, say. So you can select a blend mode for that, and then you can reposition it and create, again, literally thousands of different gradient designs by moving around. And again, you can do exactly the same. You can manipulate this and change that independent of the other layer. What you can also do is you can double click here and this panel will pop up. So just go to this and double click. It's a fill layer. So it's gradient fill. And you can go here and again you can select a different gradient. If you decide, you know what, I don't want this one, but I've got one of the other ones that I like, maybe this one. So I can select any of these other gradients I've got in this panel. And you can see you can select that one or that one or that one and so on. Also, you can change the style. So you might decide, you know what, you want linear. Also, you can then move it simply by just dragging over. That will reposition that. And also you can change the angle. And you've got other options like reverse and so on. Click OK. So you can manipulate it with that to your heart's content. Let's just delete that one. What you can also do is go over here to classic gradient. So classic gradient, and this is as it was before in Photoshop, CS1, CS2, etc. I can select a different gradient or maybe use this one and I can apply it. Now you've got none of the controls. So once you've applied it, that's it. Unless you want to just undo. So Control Z or Command Z. You can do it, apply it a number of ways. Now you'll notice what's happening here. I've got this blending. The reason being, got the mode up here. So if I undo all those, let's just undo that. So you can select that, linear. You can select any of the other types as well, or styles. And then you can go here and you can set the blend mode for applying it. So I'm going to go with normal for there. And if I apply it, you can see what happens. It just applies it, and whatever was there before is gone. So it's just applied on top of it. Now you'll notice also you've got the option here for opacity. So you can reduce the opacity and now apply it again. And you can see it blends obviously there to create a really interesting combination of gradients. And you can of course increase that and again apply it there and it's gone. And you can apply it multiple times and you can apply it to a layer, but you can also create another layer as well, or maybe 50 layers, up to you. So layer and new and layer, click OK and apply that. And you can see then here in your layers panel, you've got all these options here for manipulating this. So you can go here with the blend modes, difference. So it's combining this one with that one. And again, you can go up here, layer and duplicate and so on to create even more combinations. Now, if you want to change the colours, because obviously at this point it's just black and white, you can by of course clicking here and you can select different colours. And of course I've got more colourful ones here. But if you want to change it, simply click and this will bring up the gradient editor. So just click it and then this will come up. And then you can go down here, basically the same as that gradient bar. You can change all these stops. So this one's currently selected, the black. Just go down the colour and you can use foreground or just click. And then you can go for, say, red. Click that one. Bring that one up or double click. Sometimes it responds to click. Double click and say red or green. And once you've done that, you can click OK. Now you've got this obviously slightly different gradient and you can apply that. And you can see create all kinds of combinations. But again, blend modes, difference, and apply it again. There. And again, you can always at any point simply go up here, click here, go to this screen, add another stop. Again, want to change the colour, just click down here and then drag this down. Now, the thing is, click here, just a single click. This one does seem to require a double click. It does respond to double click. So click or double click this one. So if you want, just change it that way, click there and you can go down and colour that and click OK. Again, if you want to save it, say you created this really amazing gradient. Yeah, I love it. I've got red, etc., etc. You might want to say manipulate. You can move these along. You can reposition. You don't have to keep it like that. You can crunch that in like that. And you crunch that in like that. And you can add additional ones. And you see add very quickly. If you want to remove them, just simply drag off. Just simply select, drag. Select that one, drag. Just drag it off that bar. And then you can save it. Just go click new if you want. Obviously, otherwise, if you keep clicking new, every time it will always be called custom. You might want to call it red, green, black, or whatever. And one, a number that's useful. And then click new. And you've got it saved there. You can see there, if you hover over there, you can see it's got the name. And now click OK, and then apply it again. Well, you can also, of course, combine it with effects as well. Always simply go to filter, go down here, blur, Gaussian blur. So you can blur it, click OK, create something like that very quickly. Now you can also apply gradients using layer and go down here to new fill layer and a gradient. Now this creates exactly what you got with this new format of gradient up here. If you select that new, you get this sort of layer. So click OK and you can see you've got a gradient fill. Now you don't get the controls. The controls are not available here. But what you do get is you can manipulate this. You can just change colours. And also you've got here linear. You've also got scale. So you can change that. You can also click OK. There's also other options. You've got methods as well. You've got linear, classic, smooth, stripes. Load of different options. Actually, stripes is a new one. I haven't seen that one before. So linear. That's a slight change from one time you used to only have 3. Now you've got smooth and stripes. Learn something yourself. So stripes, we'll explore that and click OK. And now you do actually get the bar. You don't get it before, but you get it now. And then you, of course, can manipulate, as long as you've got the gradient tool selected. That's the key thing. You've got the gradient tool selected, and then you can drag it around, move it around. Also, go gradient and change that. And you can see then, or maybe go that one, that one, that one, and so on. Create all kinds of different gradients. It's still a layer. If you decide, you know what, I don't want it. The great thing about layers is you can always hide it. Click there, it's gone. Or you can just delete it. Just go down the bottom and let's just move that over because it's probably blocking it. So there's the delete down there. So you can just delete it that way. You can also add gradients via something like shapes. So just go over here and I'm just going to select one of the basic shapes, rectangle. So rectangle, and you've got here shape. And then just drag and create a shape. Now, if you go for the other one, path and pixels, not the same. But I'm just going to go with the shape option. So the shape, you'll notice here you've got fill. Or you've got properties over here. That's just as good as well. You can see it's red and black, exactly the same. Click, and you've got here, you've got your swatches. So you can click there, and you've got gradient. You've got exactly the same gradients. So if you want to, you can select any of these very quickly, and that's applied to that shape. And of course, you can then manipulate it. Just select that, move it around, and you can duplicate the layer. So let's hold down the Alt or Option key, and that will duplicate it. So you can create some interesting combinations of gradients very rapidly, simply by duplicating that design. You can see fill the screen. Let's just stop that and just drag that across there, and so on. So you can create some probably more interesting gradients than your basic gradient. And of course, once you're happy with that, you can flatten all layers. So layer, and just down here to flatten image. Also, you can apply gradients with shapes. Again, select the shape there, or any layer, doesn't matter. But the key thing is you can go to layer style. So layer and layer style, and you've got gradient overlay. So that's another way of applying gradient. So gradient overlay, and you can see you've got your gradient there. And you've got all your options here for exactly the same as before. You've got normal blending modes, opacity, you can change that, reduce that. You've also got radial, angle, change the colour, and also change the angle, and so on. And click OK. But also you've got the option here, little plus. Plus is great, so you can add another one. So if you click here, plus, you notice now you've got 2. If you click plus again, you've got 3, and so on. So you can actually create multiple gradients here. Select gradient there. But also you've got up here, you've got blend modes. So you can blend them. So go here, blend, and I'm going to go with, say, difference. And then you can see then you get a very interesting gradient design applied to your shape and or layer. Click OK. You can also, of course, use this with type as well. So you've got type, and this style can be added very quickly to that as well. The way to do it very quickly is to go to Window and Styles. So you can create a style with your gradient, and then you can apply it, of course, to any layer after that by simply going up here and New Style Preset, and that will save this gradient. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Any questions about Photoshop 2024, please let me know in the comments below. Obviously the gradients, will you be using the gradients in Photoshop? Did you find this gradient tutorial of interest and use? Always appreciated. A like or dislike, again, always appreciated as well. Bye.